So my reaction to Yapper's reaction to my video got reacted to again, this time by this guy here on stream. And here's the thing about streaming, it's live, you're going to say dumb shit. I know I've said not so smart things on stream before, it happens, but Foxhole here, man, he takes it to another level. Sure, he makes a couple of decent points, but the rest is really flat. And before we even dive in, let me point this out. Dude didn't even link the original video in his description. Didn't tag me either so I could defend myself. Real classy. I only found out because a viewer told me. But hey, I'm not him. I'll actually leave a link to his original video in my description if you want to watch the full thing. It's long as hell though, and he takes forever to make a single point. That's why I'm just breaking down what he said instead of replaying every minute. He did the same thing with my video when he made another video on it, so I'd say that's fair game. Alright, let's get into it, starting with the funniest part. So I made the argument that a 12 plus rating doesn't really mean much, right? I bring up examples I'm familiar with, like Nikkei, and before I can even finish my point, this dude goes on a 10-minute side quest looking up ratings for WUWA, ZZZ and Nikkei just to find out they're all the same, like I already said in the video. Congrats, Sherlock. Then he gives up and starts pulling up serious ZZZ scenes to counter my point about how Nikkei being rated 12 plus doesn't mean it should actually be recommended for 12-year-olds. His big gotcha moment was, does ZZZ look like it's for 12-year-olds? Only to hit play again and immediately hear me say, this applies to ZZZ and WUWA as well.
I mean, that's 12 plus, right? Do we know? Do I need to express the point anymore? Do I need to express the point anymore to that? You bring it up, Nikki. I'll bring it up, ZZZ.
Rating does not mean it's targeted for this audience. The same applies for ZZZ and Wuthering Waves. Bro didn't even react to it, and his chat straight up pretended they didn't hear. Like, are you debating me or are you debating yourself? Then he whips out his chart, showing Genshin's player base is mostly 18 to 30 year olds and uses it to argue ZZZ's audience must be the same. Joke's on you, that's a Chinese chart. And guess what China has that we don't? Government restrictions. Kids can't just log unlimited hours. They've got playtime caps unless they use their parents' IDs. That's why the graph skips teens and starts at 18. Of course, I'd assume they've got parental consent, but the numbers are skewed. And there is another thing. GTA target audience is young adults, but kids still play it. Nikkei's target audience is men, but plenty of women play. If a grown-ass man plays Minecraft, it doesn't magically change who it's aimed at. Next, I showed two clips I thought were pretty similar. And are there better examples? Sure, he showed one, but it still doesn't counter my point. The clips I used weren't grand finales moments. They were just regular ass interactions, the kind that can pop up anywhere in the story. Final cutscenes are obviously going to look flashy, but when he compared Cartathea versus Mayavi, he accidentally proved my whole argument. Even in ZZZ's big serious badass moment, goofy characters are still doing their goofy thing. That's literally what I was saying.
Seriously? Talk about showing up.
Then, to prove WUWA is also goofy, he goes yet on another side quest. trying to find the one scene that made him quit Wuthering Waves. After wasting another 10 minutes digging through footage, he finally lands on the Rover and Carlotta dance scene.
This is what turned me off of 2.0, man. This is the shit that fucking turned me off. To some people, this is the greatest shit there is. This is like some high school dramatic opera style dancing and stuff like that in Woowa 2.0 that reminded me a lot of Kingdom Hearts. I'm just like, no, man, it's in the same words as someone else that I know. It ain't my Woowa.
That's it. A 1 minute dance made him quit the game. Meanwhile, ZZZ is packed with goofy, cringy moments. But that doesn't bother him? Like, come on. I don't like everything in Woowa either, but if you say you dropped it because it's too goofy while still playing ZZZ, that's like quitting Mario because he says Yahoo! And then you go and play Luigi's Mansion. It doesn't add up. I don't buy that was your real reason for quitting. Then he starts rambling about DC versus Marvel, comparing Woowa and ZZZ to them. And okay, I get the point. Woowa and ZZZ do have that rivalry energy. But let's be real. Marvel vs DC is a completely different ballpark. Marvel always has been more goofy even if they kill more characters. DC more gritty, but they are still a lot closer to each other than ZZZ is to Wuthering Waves. Now, credit where credit is due. He did actually pull out a solid counter when I said you could compare demographics by looking at content creators. I said take someone like Saint, compare his audience ages to a Hoyo creators, and see the difference. Foxhole responds by pulling up his own analytics, which cool flex I guess, but Saint is literally 10 times bigger than you. That's not a fair comparison. If you're smaller, you might attract a different slice of the community. Compare creators of a similar size, and then we can talk. Then we hit voice acting. I said Woowa voice acting is more serious and deep compared to ZZZ. His counter? He plays a bunch of clips from Woowa 1.0, showing Anchor, Gian, and some others, and goes, see, the voice acting is not that good. The ways characters act, on average, and on serious moments, Woowa vs ZZZ is not close. The voice acting is a lot more deep and serious in Wuthering Waves.
Not gonna lie, buddy, I think there's better voice acting than a hell of a lot of fucking other anime games.
And in doing so, he proved my point again. None of these characters were goofing around or sounding like clowns. You're not finding a single Woowa character going waku waku pofu pofu or any of that anime baby talk shit. The closest you get is Anchor, and even she sounds more mature than half of ZZZ's female cast. So yeah, he's right. 1.0 voice acting wasn't amazing quality wise, but he completely whiffed on my actual point. I never said Woowa's acting was better quality. I said the tone of how the characters act and talk is more mature. Missed the mark again. After that, he threw some little jabs here and there, nothing worth responding to. At the end, when I said let's compare serious moments between ZZZ and Woowa, he already had clips lined up, and yeah, I'll give him this one. ZZZ can look more graphic. People get stabbed, there's blood, they are not afraid to show you someone dying right in front of your face. Woowa, not so much. Woowa tends to skip over the gore. So if your definition of serious is just blood on the floor, then sure, ZZZ wins that round. I'll be fair about that because I did not explain myself very well. But here's where people scream, moving the goalpost. My main point was never about which game has more blood. It's about how they tell the damn story. That's been my take from the start. Go back to my earliest videos, I never said ZZZs or Hoyo stories were bad. I've always said they tell them in the most juvenile, handholdly way possible. Hoyo Games spoon feeds you every single detail in endless dialogue, just to make sure the player does not miss anything. And the worst part is that the main characters are not even part of the whole thing. Especially in Genshin and ZZZ. They just watch from afar, not really having to do much or make any decisions for the most part, disconnecting the player from the story even more. I tried to be careful with my wording, but Hoyoshills keep misunderstanding. For example, if I said that the main character in Nikkei has to do hard decisions, like killing an ally, I bet people will yell at me in the comments saying that some ZZZ characters have gone through the same thing, and ignore the part where I said main character. So when Foxhole tried to counter my point by throwing up serious ZZZ scenes, yeah, they looked brutal, but they didn't disprove what I said. Wu1 keeps being more mature and serious, because it's just serious and mature a lot more times than it isn't, while ZZZ is the other way around. Wu1 expects you to pay attention. That's why I said Wu1's storytelling feels more mature, not because it's more violent, but because it respects the audience enough not to hold their hand every second. And finally, he goes off on some anime tangent that I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about, so I'm not even going to bother. Anyway, that's the breakdown. If you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, sub if you haven't, and as always, stay critical. Bye bye. Close to here. Thank you for letting me pass. God damn it. I have the feeling this one will be a lot more annoying. If you throw your shield, I'm quitting the game. Yep. Oh, that was a lot harder than it needed to be. It was actually tiring. I'm actually tired in real life. I'm not even joking. That was awful to go through. Oh my fucking god.